Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello, you're welcome to today's edition of Money Radio on Leadership Podcast. Money Radio is a program that brings to you the latest development in Nigeria's business and economy cycles and issues of businesses around the world. My name is Innocent Odo, and today we are talking Techie Nigeria. And our focus today is on the challenges of technology for wealth creation in Nigeria amidst the global competitiveness of the modern era. I'm not alone in the studio. I'm here with Haniel Jafaru, an ICT expert who will do justice with me on this very important topic. Haniel, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here once again.
Yes, talking about technology now, Nigerian government has actually made some pronouncements over the issues of technology and the quest to invest in the technological strides of the nation. But it seems as if the more pronouncements that are made, the more we lag behind, other countries of the world in productivity using issues of technology, or rather domesticating technology in Nigeria for the betterment of the country. Haniel, what exactly do you see is the challenge of challenge of technology in wealth creation in Nigeria amidst global competitiveness?
Okay, well, we're going. We just want to get everything done one time for all, but it doesn't really work that way. It starts between people, which initiates this thing that ends in technology. There is a long chain. It starts with you having people willing to undergo research. Then from there, they will now carry on the research. From carrying on the research, that's where they look for problems in the world. That's where they look for challenges that the world is facing. That's where they look at their environment and look for situations that needs to be fixed. And they carry out research based on those situations. Now, from the research that they carry out, successful research turns to be innovations. It is the success of the research that makes it to become an innovation. Now, when that innovation is now put into use, that's when it ends in technology. So it starts with humans and people willing to undergo research or carry on the research after looking for a problem. Then after carrying out that research, it moves the success of the research and makes it to become an innovation. Now the innovation would need a level of implementation. So when the innovation is implemented, it is implemented usually in technology. That's what's called technological advancement. And after that, that's where the wealth creation comes in. Yes. So you don't just say you're putting in money and we're not defining in where the money is being, at what stage or at what chain are you putting in this money? Are you putting in the money in the area of research? Are you putting in the money in the area of human capital? Because the humans that will carry out this research must be knowledgeable. Yes. So it is their knowledge that will not determine the level of research and the success, how successful their research would be. So where are you putting in this money? Are you putting in this money in human capital, which is the people that will carry out the research? Are you putting in money in the research they are carrying out? Are you putting in money to ensure that this research becomes an innovation? Are you putting in this money to encourage corporate organizations to embed this research into technology that will bring about technological advancement, which in turn would turn to wealth creation and will benefit both the researcher and the government and the country generally? So it needs to be clearly spelled out. We need to know what exactly we are doing, where we are putting in this money, because between the human capital that will carry out this research and the research, there is a role of funding.
Yes.
Because that you need research fund to carry out research. Between the research that is being carried out, the sources of the research, before it turns to innovation, there is the role of patenting, which is the role of government again.
Yes.
Now, between innovation and technology, the technology integration, there is the role of private encouraging the private sector to embed this technology, this innovation into their technology. Yes, so it's it's a chain. We can't just come out and say that we are investing money in technology and we're not getting results. You need to be articulate. You need to know what exactly you're putting in this money and where you're putting it.
Yes, indeed. And that reminds me, Hania, there has been so many research institutes in Nigeria, both at the universities and other places, and they are all, have a lot of experts, professionals, professors, doctors, you name them, doing research and what they call R&D, research and development. Now, does it mean that all these years there's not been any serious articulation, just like you have said, to be able to build this capacity to produce something for us, in the line that we are already talking about?
I started by itemizing the problems in each of these stages. Let's say we have the human capital. As you mentioned, we have the professors, we have the doctors, we have those that are willing and ready to undergo or undertake a research topic or look for a problem, research on a certain problem to generate, to form a solution from it. There will be need for funding. Because you can't research without funding. When somebody, we don't have people that live on research. Yes. There are people in the Western world, there are people that live on research. Yes. That is what they do. They live on research throughout their life, even though it is one research, even though it is one product or one innovation they're able to bring forth in a research that they've carried out for 30, 40 years, it will serve them for the rest of their life. Do we have people like that? No. And the reason is because the time it takes for your research to become an innovation, or for your research to be termed as a successful research, requires high level of funding, both personal, because the guy that is carrying out this research needs to eat. The guy that is carrying out this research needs to feed, he needs to drink water, he needs to re-energize himself, he needs to rethink himself and all that. If they don't have this enabling environment or this encouraging factor, it would drop their
enthusiasm.
Yes, exactly. It would drop it, and we would not get the kind of success that is anticipated.
Wow. And technology is, in fact, a very serious business. I remember sometime after during the Second World War, remember that there was this atomic bomb attack in the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, because we saw the impact of that devastation in the country. And so America demonstrated a new power that will become preeminent in the whole world. That is the power of atomic technology. Now, after that incident, the former Soviet Union president, then I think Joseph Stalin, now assembled all his scientists and gave them a mandate and said, look, I want you people to deliver that bomb through whatever research. Funding will not be the problem. Then I want you people to deliver that bomb in 5 years. You know what they did? The scientists actually delivered that bomb to him in less than 5 years. And now they have discovered that they have also arrived and becoming competitive with the US. So you can see the power of and preeminence of technology in the life of a people, and how countries and leaders of countries of the industrialized world take them seriously. But when we come here, the articulation is a problem, the fundamentals are issues, but then it's not as if we don't have the brain power. We have the potential here, but we do. How do we really, in all honesty, articulate these potentials into actual words so that Nigeria can begin to showcase to the world the talent, instead of just being potentially rich all the time? We should also turn these potentials into actual words in productivity, in science and technology.
Okay, now everyone would always go for what they think is priority to them. Yet, the government would not consider that to be a priority. Most governments, especially Nigerian, most governments, I'm not talking about even the current president, I'm even talking about past presidents. Research has never been something that they look out for. It has never been something that they would say, because research is more of like an investment, but you don't know when, you don't know how. You are just hopeful So you can sink in $1 billion into a research, and at the end of the day, nothing comes forth. You get, and those are the kind of things that the government would not, those are the kind of investment that the government would not want to undergo, because they want something that I am putting in my money and I'm getting a result. Research goes beyond that. Research requires high level of funding, especially technological research that tends to make you, in fact, that's how what powers are named, based on your level of technological ability.
Yes.
Yeah, be it in the area of business, be it in the area of security, whatsoever. But your level of technological ability determines your influence, your level of influence in the world stage generally. So if the country or the government decides to say, okay, now we want to be relevant in the world stage, how do we become relevant in the world stage? Now, now we know that, okay, there is willpower, there is a purpose. The government is looking at certain things. Now, how do we become relevant? One way to become relevant is to ensure that we have a technology that nobody has. How do we get a technology that nobody has? That means we have to research.
Yes.
How do we research? Means we have to fund. Yeah. So it is you having a purpose and having something to drive that purpose that is the matter now. Political will has a whole role to play in all this. For now, we have so many issues, and research is not in the top 10 priority of the Nigerian government, both present and past. Hopefully, we will have a government that would take research seriously and will put serious money in research. Now, because the government is not taking it seriously, the private sector is also not taking it seriously. Yet we have the level of advancement we've seen in the telecoms as a result of their research.
Yes.
Actually, because telecom, it's one in subsector in the ICT that tends to have a department that is strictly for R&D. We don't have that in the banking sector. We don't have R&D in the banking sectors. If you go to most banks, there is no department that is designed or dedicated to the R&D. Yet, well, we don't have that in tourism sector, hospitality and tourism. We don't have that in that sector. We don't have that in mining sector, even though that is where we're supposed to have that.
Yes.
Now, we're supposed to even have that in the oil sector, but what's the level of push to ensure that is it's a stable ground? Yet, so now recently the PIA
Yes.
that was recently passed is allocating about 30% of profits to frontiers, which is supposed to be for research. Now, do we have a systematic approach to how these funds would be spent? Yes.
All right. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about technology and wealth creation in Nigeria in a competitive world. And I'm being in the studio with Anil Jafaru. We are going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll continue with the discussion.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about technology and wealth creation in Nigeria in a competitive world. And I've been in the studio with Anil Jafar talking about the preeminence of technology in the life and destiny of nations. And we're talking about how we're going to rejuvenate our systems in order to articulate policies and measures to be able to get Nigeria to the promised land of using technology to advance the cause of the nation for the betterment of all of us. Anil, before we went on that short break, we were talking about you're an ICT person, and the ICT, of course, is one sector that has done well in terms of its contribution to the nation's economy. Recently, we understand that according to the second quarter GDP by the MBS, the ICT contributed about 17.92% to that the GDP in the second quarter, which is very commendable. But the problem, however, is that ICT sector may not necessarily be the core area, may not necessarily be the main productive line of technological engagement. Maybe it's largely on the service sector, but we want something that is there any way we can replicate what has been done in the ICT sector to the overall technological ecosystem of the country?
Okay, now I always say that technology generally is the middleman.
Yes.
Is the one that mediates between every other sector. Integrating the health sector with ICT makes it easier for you to integrate, because the ICT is at the middle. There's always a flow of information between whatsoever sector, be it the banking sector, financial sector, and the health sector. It's easier because ICT is involved. Now you want to have you want to sell your product. Now the e-commerce sector and the manufacturing sector, ICT is involved. So at the end of the day, you find out that ICT tends to be the middleman that helps in ensuring that every other sector they are all interconnected. So notwithstanding, there is a huge gap in the role that ICT is playing. There are many things that ICT can do that has not been done. There are many things that technology can do that has not been embedded. In fact, let's even start with the fact that most companies have not even embraced technology.
Yes.
And because they have not embraced technology, they will not see the need to undergo research in line with technology. It is when you embrace certain things that you can now begin to look for the problem in what you have embraced, because every innovation or every technological innovation has its own problem. So the research is now, the next research is to advance or to solve the problem that technological innovation is bringing forth. You get, so just like you having, there is a new innovation that has to do with power now.
Yes.
That enables, I think it's uranium or something that enables power generation. Now the problem with that innovation is that it causes cancer. Yes, but the innovation is there. So it has not been implemented because of it causes cancer. So people are undergoing research to solve that, to address the problem of cancer. Now, even though the problem is addressed tomorrow, that does not mean that that problem is not coming as a result of that research, because the essence of research is to ensure that certain technologies becomes clearer, purer, and adapt to human nature as it's supposed to be, so that it will be clean, and it will be clean for consumption and will not have drastic effects on the health of humans. So if we have companies that have embraced technology, it will be easier for them to engage in research. But for now, we should even look at a way of ensuring that companies embrace technology, and after which we can answer, okay, now that you've embraced this technology, there are problems that comes with this technology. So how do we solve it? Let's invest in research.
Yes, of course, Hadiel. There's another implication of Nigeria and the rest of Africa lagging behind in the technological advancement that the rest of the world have taken a giant strides in so many years. Is beginning to make impact, because Nigerians seem to depend more on imported materials. We import cars, we import electronics, we import all these things that are being manufactured elsewhere, and being imported into the country, which is not also helping our economy. Now, remember, I think it was in the last quarter, in the first half of this year, it is reported that Nigeria has actually imported, about 13.8, I think, trillion worth of, goods, including vehicles. Now, vehicles importation into the country consider about 4.4% of the total import in the first half of 2021. You can see that if Nigeria has, created an enabling environment for technological advancement to be made, I think we'll have less of importing some of these things, from other parts of the world. So what are we going forward now? What do you think should be the main thing that should be done? Is it going back to the grassroots, reorganizing, revamping, and refocusing the educational system? or just revamping the research institutes, bringing in more professionals, more funding? How exactly do we have to? What exactly do we have to do to connect this?
Most of our school system generally is designed for you to school and earn a certificate, and worst case scenario or best case scenario, get a job. That is the mentality and the ideology that makes us to go to school. Success depends on good education, but that is has been defined in this part of the world to be getting a good job, getting a good salary.
Yes.
It does not. It doesn't take you out of the fact the education system is supposed to build an entrepreneurship skill inside of the students so that they are not dependent on the country or dependent on a job, but instead they are creators of employment. And that is the first thing we need to do. The second thing we need to do is to ensure that our level of patenting, can you carry out a research? One thing that discourages researchers in Nigeria, can you carry out a research in Nigeria and you patent it with the Copyright Commission and all that, and that research work cannot be used anywhere in the world? Because if I patent in Nigeria and somebody in Ghana picks my research work and uses it, and I can't lay claim of that research. Of what essence is the research?
Yes.
You get? So we need to ensure that our patenting system encourages researchers, inventors, innovators, so that once they research and they patent their research, it cuts across all parts of the world.
Wow, it's been a very wonderful discussion with Haniel Jafaru on the preeminence of technology in wealth creation for Nigeria in a competitive world. It has been said that any country that embraces technology and invests in technology will be among the competing nations of the world. So it's on that note that we draw the curtains of today's edition of Money Radio, and we promise to bring you a fresh edition when next we come. Thank you and stay blessed.